Unravel. Hey, a 2016 game this time. We're almost playing modern games. But what even is Unravel? I think beautiful would be a good term to describe it.
Beautiful. Oh, this is such a beautiful visual. This is really beautiful. Really beautiful.
A very beautiful game. Today, in yet another fully objective review, we'll be playing through Unravel and judge it on its plot, its gameplay, its level design, and its music or ambience. Disclaimer, my opinion is the absolute truth and any diverging opinion is invalid. Consequently, you must conform and accept my judgments as being universal and fully object of any biases. Unravel begins with this innocent cutscene, presenting an older lady carrying these balls of yarn in a basket and dropping one of them. We've all been there. From the yarn comes our protagonist, this little cute guy called a Yarny. Just look at them whenever they fall a cliffside or get cold because of the snow. I wanna hold them and cuddle them and tell them that everything will be fine, everything will be okay, unless we meet one of these evil crabs who...
Okay, that is so rude and unasked for.
Okay, maybe not everything will be fine. Who animated that? Presented upon us is this old picture book, which I did spend 5 actual minutes trying to guess what every picture illustrated.
Looks like some kind of flower. This looks like some kind of field, maybe. Some kind of person, I would guess.
From there, we are straight into the gameplay. This house is our hub area and we must complete 12 levels by getting in these pictures laying around the house. After completing each level, we come back to the hub area and are met with the picture book now having a short description for the level, as well as the pictures being now discernible. Remember me spending 5 minutes scrolling every page?
These look like people, I would think. Or pumpkins, I'm not sure, one or the other, pumpkins or people.
Yeah, I fell dumb pretty quickly.
Oh, I see. Okay, now I feel kind of dumb.
Plot-wise, the game has us revisit the faint memories of this Swedish family through the Yarny in a clever way. This concept of traversing the pictures is fairly unique and beautifully executed. Across the levels, lingering behind us is always a sliver of red yarn, as if through these experiences and through life, we remain connected to our roots and this home. And as we are shown to revisit these memories, they become less faint and blurry, allowing us to restore the pictures in the book as if they were now clearer and vivid. The narrative aspect of this loop is quite beautiful and clever, but it also brings a lot to the game as a gameplay tool. After playing through a level and interacting with some tools or objects, you then see them in the pictures and you can be like, hey look, it's the thing from the level I just did. The story explored is mainly the one of this Swedish lady and her children, which growing up the children had to leave and depart from their home. It explored this departure and how cold it felt to be apart, before exploring the times where they would come back and the warmth it will bring her. Then it takes a slight detour, with levels going over deforestation and pollution events, which left the parents living with the consequences of it all with vivid passages, such as this one. The saviors turned out to be pillagers. Their promises were hollow, and the process was toxic. Now the young move south, and the old are left behind to tend to the wounds. After this slight detour, the narration shifts focus towards the father of the family who grew sick before passing away. They first use the metaphor of a rusting car to the rust of the man's body or machine, and how at some point you must accept to let it go, and that everything must come to an end. Then there is this beautiful level where you must pull a lantern through a snowstorm and the darkness of winter. Your every move is difficult. The lamp keeps almost going out, but you must keep going and persevere, holding on to the remaining light as you are alone against this cold and heavy darkness. Overall, the story is simple, but contains and delivers a beautiful message in a mostly clever way. My only complaint about the delivery of the message and of the story is the frequent usage of these weird holograms in the middle of levels. They occur here and there, forcing you to stop and look at this 2D illustration bringing absolutely nothing to the table. It does not bring anything that we do not understand or live through the Yarny. For example, we have this picture of the children on a sled. Then we slide ourselves throughout the level. I mean, thank you, weird hologram thing. I couldn't have figured out that you went sliding during the winter without you telling me explicitly that you did with a 2D PNG of a human doing it. Maybe you should also spell it out and have a 30 seconds voiceover next time, right? And so the children went sliding. They used the sled to slide down this snow hill. Sliding means rising or falling in accordance with given specific. Gameplay-wise, you can use your yarn to swing on anchors, build trampolines, tie knots, or pull objects. The swinging is rather fun, but that's just me liking every game with swinging mechanics. It's just fun, you can't blame me. The gameplay loop is fairly simple and somewhat repetitive, especially in earlier levels. It's just a lot of trampolines. Is it trampoline time? I think it's trampoline time. And is it trampoline time? I think it's trampoline time. And it's still trampoline time. The physics of the game and the yarn as a whole is not very clear or consistent throughout the game. While they do somewhat make sense once you understand them, I only did around the 10th or 11th level. Now, this might be a skill diff or a brain diff, but the game holds your hand very hard at some points in the game, having knots or important objects sparkle to catch your eye, but then it doesn't take the time to explain clearly the physics of the knots and the yarn, which are extremely important for some levels. Therefore, since the game explains explicitly super simple things, you're made to assume that you know everything about the required mechanics. Then, when you get to these puzzles, you just feel like a dumbass. Look, I'm not trying to make excuses for my lack of cognitive capabilities, but it's the game's fault, it's not mine. Sometimes the yarn is seemingly infinite, while other times the yarn prevents you from moving ahead because you tied knots in the wrong order and you're missing just a tad bit of yarn to reach the checkpoint. And sometimes your yarn will become solid to build a bridge or a trampoline, allowing you to walk on it, and other times it will not and you'll simply pass through the yarn. It feels inconsistent in a way that limits your creativity in how you approach puzzles, and it adds a layer of artificial difficulty. It does not necessarily make the gameplay hard, just slightly annoying when you know that you've simply tied your anchors in the wrong order and have to spend an extra 30 seconds switching them around for no reason. Alright, let's discuss level design in more specifics since I've started to address them. I describe level design as the way we use the previously established core mechanics in the different levels. So, if the mechanics suck, then it's not in this section that we'll address it, it was in the previous one. Level design is extremely good in Unravel. While the core mechanics are simple, sometimes unclear or repetitive, the way we use them keeps the game very fresh. For example, the simple mechanic of using an object to climb up something higher. It's nothing crazy, nothing unseen, but while sometimes we do pull a box and simply jump on it, other times it's a can we pulled from trash, or it's pine cones, or it's a snowball. It doesn't sound like much, but it's noticeable. The same goes for simple objects we must pull. We go from pulling weeds to pulling the lever on a reclining chair or on a piece of machinery. These are both very basic mechanics which are extremely boring. I mean, pushing objects and pulling on things does not sound fun in theory. And if I say you must do it 20 times over 6 hours of gameplay, then it might even sound terribly repetitive. However, by changing the object and including it as part of the environment and with a different theme on each level, then you don't even notice that it's the same thing that you're doing 20 times, and it actually feels fun. Then, puzzles are also fairly enjoyable. They are simple for the most part, but unique to each theme. We're in late summer or early fall. Here, use some apples to make a bridge on water.
I guess I have like to make some kind of apple bridge or something, because the apples have a lower density than water.
My physics class actually being useful for once. They were right. We're at sea. Let's use clams to bait crabs. Or even better, let's carry this floaty and use it to stay on top of the water. We're in the winter. Let's use pine cones and roll them in snow to make snowballs. At some point we're in this field where crows would eat the little yarny if we didn't take cover. Here, pull this bucket out of this well and use it as cover as you run through the field and the crows try to eat you, but you're protected by this unique bucket. Like, who thought of that? This is so sick and so creative. Every level is honestly just a good time. Beautiful visuals with a clear identity or theme, differentiating them from each other's with small puzzles here and there using tools in the environment unique to the theme. They are all fun. All except this one. We don't talk about the third level. Barry Meyer. More like very bad. Yeah, that will teach him. The third level is just bad. It has you crossing through a swamp and using logs as your main tool. Quickly enough, you encounter this puzzle. At this point, it's pretty early in the game. They hold your hand for every single thing you do, and the hardest thing I did was pushing apples in a hole, so I thought it'd be pretty easy, right?
Oh, that's fun.
This aged very poorly.
And it's getting away once again. Maybe if I jump right now? No. Damn it! I don't get this puzzle. I don't get it. What am I supposed to be doing? Pull on that thing? No, pull, my little guy, pull. Oh my lord.
I spent 25 minutes on this puzzle. I am not kidding. This puzzle made me question my cognitive capabilities and was harder than any physics exam I took. And once I finally got it and started celebrating after 18 minutes, I realized that...
What am I missing? Am I supposed to pull the log up?
Yup, I had to do it again. Ugh. And it's the third level. I am certain that there are a few people who couldn't get past this puzzle and just gave up on the game, missing out on all the remaining 9 levels, which are vastly superior. And to celebrate the success once I finally got it, what else than a bunch of bugs to annoy me for the rest of the level. They got so annoying that I actually resorted to asking wildlife for help.
The bugs are killing me, they are so annoying. Leave me, leave me. Help me, Mr. Moose.
Without much success.
They don't even care, Mr. Moose.
Now, I do understand that this is what they were going for. This level, going through the swamp, has to feel somewhat annoying because this is the emotion that they felt doing so. But it ended up just being unfun. On the other hand, the 11th level, Last Leaf, and my personal favorite, shows how to actually design this type of level. I briefly discussed it in the plot, but this level is such an emotional experience. It succeeds at making you feel the pain of the loss through clever visuals and gameplay decisions. Having to face off against a storm and the strong winds, avoiding darkness as you cling onto every anchor you can find, and your only source of shimmering light through this difficult and tedious process makes you feel the desired emotions. It does what the swamp wanted to do with the bugs and all, but in an emotional level involving unique gameplay and environmental mechanics without being too challenging or difficult to understand. Luckily, most levels are more similar to Last Leaf than Barry Meyer and provide a fresh and fun experience. Music. I'm a sucker for good music. Good music or sound design can really carry anything, and this is why I'm suffering through my audio and trying to figure out how to make it better, but I hate audio and it's not working, and why is it so painful? Alright, let's discuss the game and not my audio issues. The overall soundtrack of the game is extremely good. It is, for the most part, comprised of soothing and calmer songs, putting you in a serene mood and letting you enjoy and immerse yourself in the nostalgic journey through time and memories that this game has you traverse. Some of my favorite tracks include Rusted Apart, sending you in a contemplating mood as you traverse from machine to machine, slowly realizing the metaphor and image of the father's body failing and leaving you behind. Or Red Thread, giving you a sense of hope and optimism, still with this melancholic tone and theme, but raising a smile from reminiscing of the past. The music is beautiful and excels at what it wanted to accomplish, while the soundtrack as a whole is somewhat repetitive in the sense that it doesn't branch out in many styles or emotions. It sometimes surprises you with a swift and short section in high intensity, such as when facing a flock of crows or an angry mole. I think it's a mole, not good with animals, and I didn't look it up before doing this voiceover, so I will assume that it is a mole out of memory, and now looking at the clip I can maybe see if it's a mole or not, and just I'm not gonna redo the voiceover, so it's a mole, I don't care. Alright, let's get some numbies out. Let's answer the ultimate question of, is Unravel worth your time? Is Unravel worth playing through? Well, firstly, for the plot and the story of the game, Unravel has a beautiful message and delivers it quite well, exploring growing old and seeing a loved one pass away, while the memories become fainter by the year. The plot goes through this nostalgic message, acting as a love letter to the past and to the core memories, making us who we are. While it is not super unique or innovative, it's good enough and well executed. 7 out of 10. Now for the core gameplay, the mechanics are extremely simple and not particularly unique. They are decent enough to be enjoyable for the most part, and they do the job. But overall, they are sometimes unclear or inconsistent from what the game explains to you. In a vacuum, the gameplay gets a 5 out of 10. Oppositely, level design does an excellent job with the given mechanics. The way we interact with the environment using them feels fresh and is mostly very creative. Objects and tools are different each level and fit the different themes. Level design for me gets a 9 out of 10. And finally, for the music and the ambience, the soundtrack is excellent. While it does not have a wide range and the vibe is similar from track to track, they are all solid and different enough to reinforce an ambience unique to each level and moment in the story. You feel warmth and nostalgia while exploring joyful memory, extreme sadness and despair when mourning, before feeling hopeful and optimistic through your rose-tinted tears from having to face the impending continuity of it all without their presence. Music gets a 9 out of 10 as well. Overall, Unravel gets a 7 out of 10, and it does get the Thanos seal of you should play this game. It's a very short and dense experience which deserves you to go through and experience. While it will probably not become your favorite game or the most memorable one, it's a good few hours of decent fun through a beautiful creation. Thank you everyone for watching this review of Unravel. If you did enjoy, please stay tuned for more of these. In the meanwhile, I wish you an excellent rest of your day, and I'll see you another time. Peace!